Or our last. All right, everyone. We're back with Tracy Shaw. She's our Tooele County Clerk. And you got this job about, about 8 months ago, 9 months ago or something?
Oh, not quite. More like 90 days ago.
90 days ago. And jumped in and hid an election right off the bat. And I feel like it went off really well.
Yeah, me too. It was, kind of daunting, not going to lie, to walk into an office like that and have a very, very short window to learn the job and facilitate an election. But I had a little bit of background, party experience and things, running elections at our local level from a partisan standpoint. But I know it's very different at the county level. But there was plenty of support there. The staff were really great. Those that were there had experience, and we had our elections vendor that we work with was also there to train us and guide us and get our office ready for that. So it was really cool. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm so nerdy about this stuff. To just really see how all that stuff works from the inside out, all the machinery, the processes. It was really fun.
Well, it went off great. It really did. And I don't know. I feel I know this was the first time I voted in a little bit.
Oh, you did actually cast a
I
ballot?
actually casted a ballot.
Well, holy moly.
Well, how about that?
And in the local elections, and I enjoy I let's just say I have heartburn over national elections, but local elections I feel pretty dang comfortable with. And
Good. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you do. I mean, what breaks my heart, though, is to see that 33% of at least Tooele City, where I live, 33% of eligible active voters chose the person that's now going to be in charge of our town and our city council, or some of our members anyways. And it just kind of breaks my heart. I mean, 33% is better than it has been historically. I think vote by mail has a lot to do with that. But 33%, how much better could it be, when these people are much lower to the ground as far as our level of politics, and are making a lot more decisions that affect us much more drastically than do our national levels.
And it was a mail-in ballot. How much effort does it really take, right?
yeah, it shows up.
Yeah.
There's really no excuse when it just shows up and, oh, I'm supposed to vote now. But
Now, granted, I had two ballots in my kitchen for my son and his buddy who lives downstairs, the basement dwellers, and I did not drag them out. I reminded them of it a few times, but I should have just drug them out and said, all right, you guys pick something. But they're both in their early 20s, and I don't think they knew anybody or anything.
If you don't know, don't go. I would say that's probably the safest thing to do. Is if you're not educated on how to do brain surgery, don't pick up a scalpel. So it's not the wrong thing for them to do.
not a bad point. I think it's a great opportunity as a parent, though. I was a big fan of vote by mail before it was statewide. I signed up for that anyway. As a homeschooling parent for many a year, as my children were younger, I made that a point to bring my family to the table, and I told my children, look, this is my ballot and this is what I'm doing. And it gave me an opportunity to let them see how it works and explain the importance of it to them. And I hope that it carries on, as my 17-year-old will have the opportunity to vote in this next year's election. She'll be 18, so hoping she votes. She better.
Yeah. Well, I haven't voted in a while, up until this last year, and I think my son kind of picked up on that from me, because it seems like the only time when voting really truly feels like it matters is in the national elections, and that's when it absolutely doesn't. And the only time it matters, I think, are in the local elections. And when we vote in the local elections, like you said, those are the people that have the effect on, how your yard can look, or where you can put a shed, or, what availabilities there are in your town. And everyone jumps and runs for the president, who, really no effect on your life, or even your state senator or congressperson, who can't do anything either.
Yeah, they're only one person among many at those levels. But I mean, when you say, or when people say, my vote doesn't matter, my vote doesn't count, I know it matters very much in our local elections. I recall a recent election where I think it was Councilman Graff and Councilman Dave McCall were up against one another, and then
By 3 votes,
yeah,
right?
it was like 3 or 4 votes. I can't remember the exact numbers. It wasn't my time in office, but that ended up switching where I think Dave was on top on the night of election, and then by the time provisionals came in, or did the follow up thereafter, it had changed by a matter of like 4, 5, 8 votes, something like that. And so Councilman Graff is a sitting council member right now because of those very narrow numbers.
And Dave is about to sit.
Yes, and now he's coming back, so that's kind of exciting. I think that it's neat to watch the process unfold, and especially in that race where it was such an even split with all 4 members of, all 4 candidates that were on the ballot. It was such an even split. There were no far and ahead winners on that one. So I think that speaks well to our candidates. First of all, that we have so many that are qualified and that can do a good job, and that the people believe in enough to have such an even split there.
Yeah, we had a really good I don't know, everyone we interviewed was just excellent. It was tough. You couldn't have made a bad choice.
Agreed. I appreciate this podcast's efforts to promote that. I remember during that race when I was in the races before, when I was just still serving as a county party secretary, I would get people calling me saying, hey, where can I find out information about the candidates? And this was definitely one of the places that I sent them. It was nice to have a place where you could learn a little bit more about the candidates, and where there weren't a lot of debates going on, not a lot of meet the candidates going on, largely due to COVID and things. It was nice to have a digital source to send folks to. So thank you for what you guys do.
Yeah, well, it's our pleasure, definitely. So
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah. Tell us about you. What is your history?
My history? Well,
your roots, how'd you end up getting to where you are now?
Fair enough. Well, my husband and I have lived here in Tooele County for, I think, about 18 years now, and married into a political family. Very foreign concept to me. Coming from where I grew up in Wyoming originally. So moving to Utah, and politics was always a topic of conversation around the family dinner tables. Kind of helped me open my eyes to realize that important things are happening in the world around us, and we need to do something about things, not just talk about it. And I remember a very specific pivot point in my life in 2009 when I decided to stand up and do, and actually got involved here at the local level. It's as far as I felt comfortable enough. I ran for a political position in the Republican Party for the State Central Committee. Most people probably don't even know what that is, or or what its purpose is, but that's the body that governs the rules and the bylaws and those kinds of things, the Constitution for the State Republican Party. And each county has representatives that represent each of their individual counties, and they come together as a body, I think 4 times a year. And it's a lot of rule talking and minute going through, and a lot of arguing and what have you, as politics tends to get. But we need a representation, and I stood up to do that.
That's some hardcore stuff, because
Yes.
I mean, I'm a pretty big buff political type personality, but man, when it comes to bylaws and parties, I just yawn, fall asleep, and pass out. I can't do it.
Many people feel that way, but that's something that I strangely really enjoy, like going through that, finding a better way to do things. Processes are really important to me, which I think is a big part of where I and how I ended up where I am today. In that, that service in the Republican Party, I served in various positions there for like a decade of my life. I mean, ever since that 2009, so over that now, I guess, but served as treasurer, served as secretary, and that's just what I love to do. I love to organize things. I love lists. I love the policies and the procedures, and making sure that our party was flowing smoothly. I'm also a small business owner here locally, and those kinds of skills, just learning to make things work and flow and to serve people in what I do, I think just really carries over to what I'm doing now, and what kind of led me to take it to the next level. And when our county clerk was retiring early, it just really felt like a good fit and something that I felt like I could give and do more and serve at this time.
I feel you knocked it out of the park. So what's your educational history that brought you to this policy wonky position?
Well, my education background comes in web development, of all places. I love technology. I love computers. I went to what was LDS Business College at the time. It's now Ensign College, and I find that computers are a lot like policies and procedures. You have to do things in a certain order when you're doing web development in order to get the end result that you're looking for, and you have to make changes in order to the computer's only going to do what you tell it to do, right? That's what computer programming is all about. And so if we want to have a better process or better flow, then we have to change the coding and all the background things behind it to bring out what we want. And so I got a degree in that, but found out in my third semester of college that wasn't for me. There was too much detail there that just got a little bit overwhelming for me, but I did find a passion for the administrative side.
So you weren't autistic enough to pull it off? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. I had to finish, though. Like, I was too stubborn to quit and change majors to what I actually should have done, is that the administrative side. But I mean, I love the softwares and creating, and have since used those skills to, like, do a lot of the background work for my businesses as well as for the county party, creating those lists and distributing information, making sure that our delegates know what's going on and when conventions are, and administering those kinds of elections to make sure that everybody had ballots. Those are the kinds of things that I love doing and have done for a really long time now. That took me here.
All right. So you've got the background, you've got the knowledge, you did an excellent job. I know it made my job extremely easy when I reached out to all the candidates to go through the list that you had published on the county site. And I don't know if that had always been there, but
Yeah, they have had a list of candidates there. I did make sure that it was up to date, like after the primary election.
Oh, yeah.
I trimmed it down. I didn't want those extra names to be there because I didn't want people to be confused about, okay, wait, why is this name here? Why are they not? If they were just now engaging in the general election versus the primary, then they wouldn't understand. In fact, I know that some people don't. I did get calls in my office at the county saying, why do I have 2 ballots? I'm really confused. And then we quickly learned, like, we weren't producing 2 ballots for people. So one of my staff members was really intuitive enough to notice that there was different dates on both those ballots.
they're hanging on to the primary.
Yeah, they still had their primary ballot sitting on their counter.
Maybe we should change the colors of the envelopes from primary to.
I'm kind of pondering a change, something
You know?
like that. I don't know what my choices
Or even
are.
just
but
put like an easy to peel off sticker, a pink one that says primary ballot and a yellow one that says, main ballot.
great suggestions. I actually have a meeting with our printer who's does the envelopes and the ballots and things for us here in December, where we have kind of a post-election roundup to see how things went, what can we do differently, preparing for the next election already in December. I guess supply chains are such that we have to get that far ahead of it. Right now, they're already telling me, okay, we need an estimate of how many envelopes you think you're going to need, and let's raise that number by 3% because they're so worried about having enough paper to even print the number of ballots that we need to. So it's definitely something that we're on top of right away.
Can I go crazy on you for a second?
I guess
You wouldn't have to go far.
What's the possibility of moving to a digital election? I mean, just for, say, our local county elections, what would Tooele have to fight through? Because we could look at being one of the first in the
pioneers,
nation.
yeah. I mean, I do know that there are voting apps available right now. I think some of the other counties might be using them for maybe party things. I don't know if that's something that can be done statewide. I do know that it's up to the lieutenant governor's office. They dictate, they've dictated that our state, all counties will be by mail, and so we don't really have a choice in
Well,
that.
the by mail's fine, but I mean, how many trees are we killing?
True, but I guess
The
you have
price
to
of
weigh.
paper is through the roof, and
I don't disagree, but when you go digital, you also eliminate a certain percentage of the population that
Yeah, the
really
older people.
don't even
You-
have a device or don't even
That
have
is-
an email, let alone.
that is true. But
like-
that's why I say we get ahead of it now, and people who want to vote digitally go
Can.
on to the site and sign up for that, just like you used to sign up for the mail-in ballot.
True.
Now they sign
Not a
up
bad
for
idea.
the digital ballot, and they're not killing trees anymore, and then everyone else who doesn't sign up still gets to.
I'm sure there's like a security process that you have to get approved of.
Sure.
And you got to get the stamp of approval from a
Sure.
magic man sitting behind a mirror or,
Sure.
or
And
curtain.
and I would argue it's equally as secure as a mass mail-in ballot.
I can't really speak to that as far as whether it would be secure or not. I don't have enough knowledge about what happens on the background of technology. I mean, I have, some technology experience, but certainly not in the networking or cybersecurity to have that kind of expertise. It makes me nervous just reading what I do in the news and all the accusations that have flown about,
Well,
things being rigged and tampered with from an electronic standpoint that right now, at least with my experience, my limited one election experience, I feel very comfortable with the paper, just knowing that it's there, it's protected, it's in my vault. Few people have access to that. Those that do are screened, and we're watching that closely.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, that reminds me of a question we had previously. We're like, do you think Tracy knows who's winning as it's all happening? Or does she like wait until the last day to open the
I
envelopes
do
and start
not
counting?
know how that goes. I don't find out the results until maybe 10 minutes before you guys do. The machines tabulate it. It's counting it. The machine knows.
So you're
but it doesn't
feeding-
display it. So we're
Right.
tabulating ballots the moment we get them. So you get the ballots 2 weeks before the election happens, or whatever day it is that it arrives in your mailbox. You send it off to us, and we get it a couple days later. Election still isn't for another 3 or 4 days, or a week or however long. Well, we open after we've secured the envelopes, meaning like we verified the signatures and we know that that person's signature is valid, and they are a registered voter, and then we separate those ballots from the envelopes so that we don't know whose is whose, and then we put those ballots through the machine, and it's counting them, it's tabulating the results, but there's no display on that machine at that time. And so we can't look at that at all. We're not allowed to pull any results off of that machine until election night. And so that's when we did our first poll, was on election night at 8 p.m. and we pulled the results, and it took me 20 or 30 minutes to make sure we did all the adjudication as well. Adjudication is when the machine can't tell what the human meant, meaning maybe somebody has scribbled something on their ballot instead of just filling out the oval, or they marked the wrong one, and so they put an X through it and circled this other one. They're not really following the the standard Scantron kind of coding that it's expecting. The machine will then say, wait, I can't read this, send it over to us, and then 2 of us evaluate that human intent, and it was pretty clear what voters were intent there. And then once we have those all finalized, then they get posted to the results page, and then
How many of that kind of an opportunity exists in your position to actually adjudicate those types of votes?
Well, in this one election, we had, I want to say, about 11,000 ballots this last time. And of that, I think
Is that
we
for the
did-
whole county?
I believe so.
Okay.
No, that was just for the Erta and the Lake Point. I can't remember how many ballots we had over the night. I want to say maybe 12,000 something. It wasn't super high. I didn't feel like it compared to that. If we sent out about 35,000 ballots, I do remember that we had about 35,000 registered voters, and if 33% were voting, roughly, depending on the municipality, then that would be about right. The 11 to 12,000, something like that. Of that, I want to say that we adjudicated maybe like 50 ballots. It was very small.
Wow, that is a
And
small.
I felt
margin.
like that
Yeah.
was very surprising to me as well.
That's a good status that Tooele knows how to fill in a bubble.
And I think that's largely improved over time. That I think we're finally getting the hang of it as a county, that we know how to read directions and we know how to fill out the ovals.
I'm
Like,
impressed. I was kind of thinking the Tooele population would have a higher margin of error.
although
or maybe the people who didn't vote fall on that.
I won't say that we're perfect though, because our election specialist that was there as part of training did say that, and he's been involved in elections for like 29 years, and he's been all over the country helping with elections everywhere. And he did say that in all of his long history with elections over the last 29 years, that Tooele County has produced for him the worst adjudicated ballot that he's ever seen, meaning like everything was scribbled and scratched out and a novel on there. Like, I really meant to do this. And they're like really writing out their whole story and like most scribbles that he's ever seen in his entire life. So I guess we're not perfect, but we try.
Do you get like, I don't know, like the really vulgar people just messing with you on the ballots?
No,
Nothing like
I
that?
didn't see anything inappropriate or weird like that, but
All right, I'll work harder next year.
we did get a mystery brown something on there. We're really hoping it's chocolate, but that's what we banked on.
You didn't grab the new guy and say, "Hey, taste this."
No, we just ran it. Luckily, the machine can still tabulate.
Okay. Well, no, I feel like just watching it, and here's a note: we've contacted the mayor of Tooele, Mayor Wynn. She's going to be back on, but you are going to see probably twice a month. We're going to be rolling through all of the elected officials of the county that we can get to come on, and we're going to try to get them on here and chat with them, upcoming plans and everything. And this is going to be an ongoing thing. And hopefully with you as well. Just
Yeah, I'll definitely be here. I'll actually be on the ballot this time, even though I've only barely been in for 90 days.
Yeah.
Because I'm only filling in as an interim. Then if I wish to continue, which I do, I'd like to give it more than 90 days worth here. I'll have to file in March to continue my office here as county clerk.
And when will that election be?
That'll be November of 2022. So if I want to
Okay.
run, I have to file in March to.
Well,
to be part of it.
that's what we want to see. Is we want to just to let the people of the county and every city. We'll take anyone on. Stockton. Everyone. Even if you just want to zoom in and give us an update on your town.
Well, I'll do what I can to help facilitate. I mean, all of the candidates will have to come file with my office at some point. So I'll be happy to keep you apprised and
You'll
let them
know who's running against you really quick.
that I
guess.
will. Indeed. That'll be weird. Like, I don't know how that works, but that's okay. Like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it personally. Like, if somebody wants to run against me, I'm happy that if more people want to be involved, the better. Like, I think choices are a good thing.
It is.
In elections.
And that must happen a lot because like even in our last mayoral election, I mean, Ed was on the city council, right? And then Mayor Wynn is the mayor. So they have to look at each other every day and say, hey, that's the way the game is played. And they're
they've
very
known
adult
each
about
other.
it,
Yeah,
so.
I did ask her about that.
They've known each other forever too.
Yep, I did ask her about that at the swearing in of the Erta City candidates that we just did this last week. She came to observe that, and I asked her, I was like, how does that work at the office, after, post-election? And she said, yeah, it's weird for a little bit, but yeah,
Right.
they get through it and they move forward at the end of the day to get the job done.
Good. So yeah, we're gonna have everyone on. We'll kick it off with Tooele, obviously, Tooele mayor, and then Grantsville mayor to be
Who won Grantsville?
Critchlow.
Yeah, Neil
Okay.
Critchlow.
Yeah, we'll have Grantsville on and just kind of updates. There's been some news coming out of Grantsville of late, and ask him about that. I know the winds down there aren't turning the way he was hoping, but I think he's going to roll with it and go with it. And then we're going to roll through all the city councilors. We're going to try to get all the mayors on just so that everybody has an opportunity to hear what their elected officials say. We would like to make this a convenient place to get to know get to know them a little bit, you know, if you don't have time or opportunities to go to the council meetings, and we'll start showing up to those.
We'll probably have Lake Point candidates as well.
Oh, I think
Um,
that's happening, huh?
With the incorporation that they
Yep.
just voted for, I imagine that this next election, this next general election, will have, what would they be? City councilmen that would be running the 5. I think is what they voted for. 5 city council.
The county's going to lose all of its areas.
True. Yep.
So what does that mean for the county when someone incorporates?
It means the city becomes an actual city and manages and pays for itself, and the county no longer. So
Yeah, they do separate in those ways. And I
Yep.
think as a fledgling city, and we're learning a little bit of that with URTA having just been, electing their city council folk. As a fledgling city, they're learning quickly that, oh my, we need a lot of services. And so largely I feel like the county will still be involved in that. They'll be just contracting. They'll be viewed as a contract between them. We're going to pay you, county, to service our city until we have enough income and tax base and, everything like that, businesses to help provide some of those services ourselves is largely what will happen.
yeah, they'll end up being kind of a law enforcement vendor kind of situation, and these fledgling cities are starting out with no money.
Yep.
So that's where they'll be borrowing county property, maybe city property, like Tooele City property, for their meetings and things like that, and kind of getting loans or bonds to pay for the startup.
So you're breaking down small government counties to smaller government cities.
True.
Yep.
And
Yep.
where their taxes goes change and things like
Yeah.
that. I mean, we might see, URTA might have to pop out of school or something. I keep wondering why Stansbury Park hasn't incorporated.
I think that's definitely a topic of discussion amongst those residents right now. I mean, even right after this election, I received an email from a Stansbury resident saying, well, how much would it cost to do a special election right now if we wanted to incorporate? And I went, whoa, like that's kind of crazy to think of right now. If we like literally just had an election, the cost of doing that alone would be pretty astronomical for any just random group of citizens, I feel like. But that's how we treat municipalities. As in my office, they contract with us to do the elections for them because they don't want to go out and buy their own machine tabulator, and they don't want to pay a printer to do their ballots and their envelopes. And so
That's not
we
efficient.
it's just more cost effective to pay us as the county to facilitate their election, even though it's a city race. Does that make
Not
sense?
to mention right now saying a special election where you don't have any, you haven't done any kind of feel for it.
Yeah,
to
there's a
spend that
major
money
process
to see if it would even be worth it. You should tell her.
You have to do a feasibility study, and there's a
Yeah.
process. I referred them on to the lieutenant
Good.
governor's office, is where they need to go to
And
get
that
those
might-
kinds of things, those kinds of questions answered. How do we become a city? And it's quite a process. I'm not an expert on it yet, but just what I've seen in my short time there, I mean, it's doable. If they wanted to do it, they could for sure.
Stansbury
but-
definitely could.
Yeah. So I'm sure that will be a topic of conversation.
They're larger than URTA and Lake Point combined. They could definitely handle it. But yeah. All right. So we have a new petition up on the county website, correct?
Yes. Yeah. We're
So
calling
what
it
do we got going on?
We've got the Ochre Point referendum. That is an ordinance that the county council recently passed, and I think it was an October meeting. And some of the residents that attended that were not pleased with a decision to approve a development that happened in that meeting. And as active and involved as they are, they submitted an application for referendum, which would overturn that decision. And so if they want to overturn that decision, then they have to gather signatures from around the county, a certain percentage. They have to get 16% of all registered voters here in the county, as well as 16% of the county council districts, from each of the 5 county council districts as well. So they have their.
So it has to be a distributed percentage and an overall percentage.
Correct. They have to meet both requirements in order to overturn that decision. And so I recently, this last week, just sent out a proposition information pamphlet about that referendum. We have it posted on our site, and I emailed it out to about 20,000 voters, as the email database that the clerk's office has from the voter registration system. So a good percentage of the registered voters, and just as an informational source only. We remain neutral in that. We're just a disseminator of information, and that just outlines what the ordinance is, who are the people that applied for that referendum, their argument for it, and the fiscal and legal impact of that decision should it go through. And so that's where voters can go to the county clerk's website and read up on that. If they didn't receive the email, or if they'd like to add their email, then they can reach out and we can make sure their email gets added to their voter registration. They can do that online as well on the vote.utah.gov, and update their voter registration to have that email there so that we can send you the things like that in the future.
Tracy, do you know what the big gripe was about the development that they're building? Or is it like high density housing, or is it?
I don't remember the
gravel
details
pit?
of it, to be honest. As far as if it was, I think they just don't want, I think it came under, like, it's a similar development to the Shoshone one, I think, that they did before. And again, this is before my time in office with that one, so I'm not really sure on it. But it's my understanding that the developer is changing things, like trying to create a development that works with the zoning that is currently there. And they had to go back and forth with the county council a bunch of times. I know that the one that they finally settled on was version 10 of that agreement. And so it was a lot of back and forth of wanting to do it right and wanting to appease what the council wanted. But I think the residents were feeling that it's not about what the county council wants. It's about what we as a brand new city want. And please let us make that decision instead of you. Like the phrase that one of the public commenters made was, please don't write checks that we're going to be expected to have to cash. And so I think that was more like, that was the overarching feeling there, was we want to make our own decisions about what our development should look like. So please hold off and let us decide.
That's a huge point, because they just incorporated. They're going to have to fund themselves. And yeah, that's a good point. Whether you agree with the.
Yeah. And I have no stake in that game as far as whether they develop or not. But, in defense of the county council side of things, I mean, this isn't like a last minute thing that they're just now shoving in right here as these city council folk are being elected. This particular development, I do know, has been on the council agendas since July. So it's been quite a while. Like I said, a lot of back and forth until the bugs could get worked out, until it finally rolled forward in October. So, I mean, it wasn't a last ditch effort to shove something down Erda's throat, in my opinion.
I don't think they were doing that, but I do agree with Erda saying, look, we incorporated now, and it shouldn't be for the county to vote for city, ordinances.
Right.
So
and that's why
that's
why it's up to the residents now. Like, all county residents that are registered voters have a decision before them if they want to sign that petition or not. Even though we all don't live in Erda.
Yeah, why would all county get that choice? You'd think they would just have to get the summation of Erda where it's become a city.
Well, it hasn't been finalized yet, and we just barely elected the folks to be that, and that's one of the final steps. But technically, this development is still in unincorporated Tooele County, and so that's why the county council was making that decision on that development at that time, since it hasn't fully been transferred to Erda city limits just yet. And so, because it's in unincorporated Tooele County, everyone in the county. It's a county-wide issue now because of that, even though it's kind of specific to that area. But everyone is eligible and to sign that petition if they so desire, or not. That's what the whole point of the pamphlet is. And as far as my job as county clerk is just to make sure that the voters know that they have this opportunity before them and should make an informed decision.
So that's another advantage to incorporating is you get to have more control over the development of your local area.
I think, well, from the people we talked to about ERDA incorporating, one of them thought that the temple issue drove people away from voting for incorporation, and the other one thought that the temple issue drove them towards it. So, and that may be just their districts they're in may have different opinions on that too. And according to how close they live to where the temple site was going to be.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, there's still a lot of sore feelings about that from each direction, I'm sure.
Yeah, there really is. And
but I'm just grateful we're going to have one in Tooele County.
yeah,
So I mean, like, always look at the bright side of and go get it on and
go get your work done.
Yep.
I like it. I'm glad they're building it on that side of Tooele. Otherwise, they would force me to move. They're way too close.
Yeah.
It's just close enough. I feel like that's a really good centralized location.
I do too.
Right in the middle of the valley there.
ERDA would have been a beautiful place and gave them room to grow, but with ERDA being an agricultural town or area, and the way they wanted to build higher density, I think would have had a negative impact on ERDA. Just in my opinion, a negative impact on the farmers around ERDA. And that is going to happen one day. I would hate to see the religious institution of the state be a part of that negative impact. Just a personal.
Agreed. And that's probably why they pulled out and moved it elsewhere. I don't think they wanted to be part of that either, at least with the current political climate.
Plus Home Depot's like right there. I mean, if you got to go get a hammer or some nails.
Yeah, the only question is do you pull into the temple to do your work and then hit Home Depot? Or do you hit Home Depot first and then hit the temple? That's just the question.
To be determined.
I don't know. But yeah, and I'm excited to see the temple go up. I am not a religious person, but I am excited. I like to see that offering closer and everything else. Now, the next big question, this is a funny joke side note. You've been married in the temple, and you have a picture of that temple on your wall, correct?
Yes, I do.
Are you then going to add a picture of your local temple next to it, or do you replace the picture of the temple of your marriage?
Well, to be honest, I'm not much of a picture person on the wall, as can be evidenced by my office right now. There's literally nothing on the wall. At my house, I took my photos off my wall currently. I remember because it was during the 2012 caucus, and I decided to paint my house right in the middle of organizing those caucuses. And all the pictures came off the wall to do that while I was in the middle of planning caucuses. And honestly, those pictures are still in my bedroom to this day, however many years later that is. So I have a picture. It's not on the wall right now, I'm going to be honest, but it's there. And I will definitely have a picture of the new Deseret Peak Temple. I mean, we'll definitely be going there as a family. We've
your children will probably
we've visited
get
that
married
site.
there.
We're excited about it. I don't know if they'll get married there. I know my kids are very partial to different temples that they've gone to.
Oh, really?
For doing baptisms for the dead with their youth groups. And
it is kind of a jokey thing because, I have family members. I was raised religious, but, I fell away. But I have family members, and that's one thing I've noticed. You put a picture of the temple you got married at, that, it's a place of celebration. And then I wonder if you get a local temple, that one maybe you might work at as you get older, or your children might attend when they do their meetings. Does that replace the one, or how does that
you
work?
probably just add to it. But
Yeah, bigger wall.
Indeed.
My wife will go to TJ Maxx and buy the picture frames, and there's already like a picture in there for the commercial presentation.
I have so many of those.
and she just puts that puts that out there and doesn't put a picture
I
in it.
did that for years until my sisters straightened me out. They did
Okay.
not like that. I had a very handsome couple on the wall for a long time.
I don't know. I don't think I'm like most women. I'm quickly learning that, interior things and decorative stuff. Honestly, when I painted my walls at that time during that caucus season, I sat down on the floor in the corner and I cried. And I said, "Oh my gosh, my sweet husband, what have we done?" Like, I felt like I ruined my house and it was really devastating. And then the sun came up because that was at night, and the natural light on it made me feel a lot better. But man, sitting there in my dingy lit room. Anyway, interior decorating, I guess, just isn't my thing. So
Yeah.
I guess I can't give a fair.
You gave it a
accurate
shot,
estimation.
Tracy. You gave it a
I sure
shot.
tried, but
You got it done, yeah. You painted the wall and it looked good in the sun. That's a win.
yeah, here I am 90 days into office, and I'm finally getting my office painted. It was a mauve pink color, which just wasn't my favorite. So I'm taking a stab at a new color palette. We'll see how it turns out, but no promises.
All right. So we've got a petition upcoming.
Yes.
We've got a Tracy running for office officially upcoming.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this last election, it felt like it went off without a hitch. And I know that I communicated with you a few times as it went on, as I was trying to put together the interviews, and you were very responsive to me. And so I feel like you did a good job. I know in the next election, I know who I'll be voting for.
Oh,
County
that's kind.
clerk. I can say that right off the bat.
Well, wait and see. You never know. Like, there could be someone amazing that also runs. So I would
Like
say,
they're bringing
I
me
mean,
money to my house.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You never know.
That's-
David might decide to run. You never.
So
No,
Tracy still
Probably
wins.
not.
Tracy, can I vote twice for you if David runs?
No, because I only print one ballot. That's got to be your primary ballot that
The
you
boys'
left on the
ballots will
counter.
show
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
We would have such a similar background because I do computer programming too,
Yeah, Dave's.
and none of my stuff ever works.
Yeah.
So-
I feel you there. One of the reasons I decided that wasn't.
I
my-
would,
my
if
cup
you
of tea.
guys ran against each other, I would put together a debate, and it would be a nerd off. It would be,
Oh man. Oh
it
man.
would be like grab your pillows and let's get this started.
Well, I appreciate the support. I really do.
But no,
like
seriously,
I said, wait and see. I don't need a public endorsement just yet. Let's like wait and see who's actually filing to run.
Okay, I'll just endorse this. The last election went excellent. It
Well,
went
thank
really
you.
smooth.
I appreciate that. I
And it
was
a-
really pleased. But
It was
like
a
I said,
complicated year.
yeah, it was. It was a good one to start with. To get a feel for all the different municipalities. It added some definite challenges that I wasn't expecting, but staff were great to help me pull through. And like I said, that election support was helpful as well. The training from our vendor was awesome.
All right, I want to throw out there before we cut Tracy loose. Tooele Co. It's Tooele, TOOELECO. So Tooele Co. One word .org, and that's how you can get to the county clerk's office. And when they go to your website, what all offerings do you have on there? Can they register to vote? Can they?
We have links to a lot of different things for our different offerings. The main one that it will point out with today's discussion is over on the left. If you're on your computer, you'll see petitions, and that is where you'll find a link to that information pamphlet.
Okay.
You'll see the Ochre Point referendum page there.
Okay. All right. So about the clerk, it lays out what the clerk's responsibilities are, and it looks like you kind of handle a lot of stuff in the county.
That we do. Business events, event licenses. If you're looking to start a business in unincorporated Tooele, not Tooele City or Grantsville City, if you're in those, then you have to call those municipalities to get your business license there.
Right.
But we do handle the business licensing for that.
How much is a business license in?
It depends
County?
on the type of business. We work
Oh,
really
okay.
closely with community development, and so
Right.
depending on if it's like just out of your house and you're just sending things, it's going to be a very different fee than if you're like setting up a brick and mortar store, and just the type of business that you're doing affects that. So I don't have a solid number that I can
So it
give for
depends.
that. It depends, yeah. We do have the marriage licenses on there as well. You can fully apply online, and then with our website there.
You still fill out the paperwork that says you're not related. I promise.
Yes,
this
that's all
isn't-
part of the application that's online.
I
there, but you can
remember
do
the
that
first time I
there.
got married. That made me giggle.
I know, right? You have to promise those things.
Yeah.
Passports, we can't do a passport online just because that's part of the Department of State's responsibilities. So we still have to mail those things off. But something I have learned in office is that the Tooele County Clerk's office is the only place in Tooele County where you can go to submit those passport forms to get a passport. I didn't know that.
But not to
before my time
renew.
up. Renewing, yeah,
You
would
can
just
go to the
mail
post
it. You would
office.
just mail it yourself. But if
Yep.
it's your first time getting a passport, then Tooele County Clerk's office is the place to go.
Very good.
It's good information.
Very good. Everyone, this Tracy Shaw. The election went off great. I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. It really,
And
it
thank
really
you.
was an accomplishment, and I'm super proud of my office for pulling it together as quickly as we did.
Yeah. And we had now the next election should be a little bit hardier election too, right?
Indeed, and
We're gonna
it'll be
have-
trickier because I won't be able to help with it. Where my name will be on the ballot,
Oh.
I can't.
So what are they
handle
going to
any of
have
the
to do to? Are they going to have to get like an interim?
No, I can still serve as the county clerk. I just can't handle any of the ballots. We had a similar, like one of the gals in my office had a relative on the ballot this time as well. And so same kind of thing. She was able to help in other ways. And so I'll have to kind of step back and help in other ways besides actually handling ballots and those kinds of things. And so thinking ahead, knowing that this was coming, I had my chief deputy, Nikki, do a lot of the grunt work in the election room, like working with the machines and tabulating. I wanted her, like I started learning that and I know how to do it. And I walked through that process and feel good about it. But knowing that I wasn't going to be able to help next time, I really wanted her to be very, very comfortable with that process since she was going to be leading that drive next year without me able to help. So that's what I'm already preparing her for that experience. So,
That's good. That is-
Were the machines Dominion machines?
I don't think so. No.
Is that the company everyone's like worried about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those
okay.
ones aren't those ones aren't those machines.
They don't make those machines. Okay.
At least not in our office. I don't know
Ours
if others
are
are using
You
them.
probably get asked that a lot, I bet.
No, I actually haven't.
ours have like a piece of tape on there with a handwritten name on it. I can't remember the name. It's not Dominion anymore.
Oh, we just taped over that. Is
Yeah,
that what
just-
you're saying? Nyah, nyah, nyah.
Dominion showed up with, but no. When it comes time to run, please come back on.
Sure, be
And,
happy to. I'll bring a few friends
laid
too.
out.
I know there's several of our county officials that'll be up this time. A couple of county
Good.
councilmen, and I think our county sheriff.
And
I
we've
can't
got some
remember which
state
other ones, to be
people,
honest, right now.
some state
Yeah.
stuff that'll be.
Yeah, Mike
done.
Lee. I think his term is
Now,
up.
will they be coming through your ballot?
Yes, it'll be a countywide
Okay.
ballot for
So
us.
this
'cause
is gonna
everyone
be
in
a
the
lot
state will have
bigger.
the opportunity to vote on those districts and those state level
So everyone,
people.
can they register to vote through the county clerk's portal on the Tooele Co?
We have links off to the voter
Okay.
registration, but that's handled at the state level with the lieutenant governor's office. The vote.utah.gov is the website to get registered. And if you register there, then that gets carried to our office where we will make sure that you get a ballot.
Yeah, everyone jump on and register to vote. And then,
If Jared can do it, so can you.
yeah, yeah, I know. Shocking. I know. I still may have a hard time voting for anything national. Just because I think it's
You don't even need to explain it.
It's
I
a
think we all know
cesspool.
exactly how you're feeling.
it's disgusting, but our local stuff matters. It's important. And I can tell you from meeting with and talking to personally everyone in Tooele City and Grantsville City, a few people in Erda, a few people in Stansbury Park. It felt really good to get to know them. It was a hard ballot from doing that. I had to really sit down and kind of soul search because all of you that ran were excellent. I want to thank you all for running. You guys were all outstanding citizens. Every
Agreed.
one of
It
you.
takes a lot of courage to step up in that way.
Yep.
Knowing that you might lose and
You got
it can
to
be
speak
really challenging.
publicly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, I hate doing that. That's public speaking stuff.
It's not my
This is-
favorite. I'm much more comfortable sitting at my desk behind a
Right.
computer doing my thing and just helping others to
I get
shine.
nervous
but
in
man,
public. Even though I do this, I get nervous like in public.
Yeah.
Like when we went to that meeting we met up over at TATC.
Yeah, the candidate luncheon for
Yeah.
the chamber. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been
Yeah.
sweating bullets up there talking.
I had to get up there and talk at the
Yes,
beginning
you
of that
did.
for like 15 seconds, and even that was enough. I'm like, hey, good, I'm out. Like, it's not my favorite thing to do either, but
Yeah.
it's part of the job. I'll do what I have to. It's important for people to have the information, so
It is.
we'll do what we can.
And the good thing is, if you come on the podcast, you get a little bit of practice warming up that
I'll
public
take it.
speaking thing. You know, it's
Well, I think next go around
It's
we're
healthy.
going to try to host local debates. We're going to try to figure out how to piece that together. So you'll probably see us around I don't know, right before September, really start just laying out blocks where we're going to try to get everyone. It might just be a Zoom debate, but everyone get together,
Zoom works. That's
Zoom's efficient.
and,
Just for
and it's
space.
recordable and you can watch it later. That's one thing I really like about it. Versus the in-person meet the candidates are great. Some people really like to meet in person, but if you can facilitate some sort of meet the candidate in person and record it so that you can share it later, like because a lot of people can't be there that day or they're busy at that moment, and so to have that digital online source that you can go to later when you do have the time has been really invaluable. I feel like.
Yeah.
I wonder why someone would want to meet in person versus just ask them a question over a podcast. It's like, what would be the big difference that you'd be
Sometimes
sorting
you want
something
to.
out through?
Sometimes you want to read a person's face.
Smell
I feel
them.
like
There's the handshake.
It's a vibe. I think
And-
you feel an energy that comes from being in person that you can't really grab, and maybe it's just a gut feeling. I'm not really sure.
And
but
nothing's going to compare to a debate in front of an audience where you can
true.
get reaction from the audience right then and there.
Bring your popcorn. Yep.
Yeah. But we're going to keep doing it. And I don't want to do this last go around. I don't want to do any like hit them hard or try. I want to give everyone running a chance to come and say, hey, this is me and this is what I like. And that
That'd
way
be
you're,
great.
and I think that's I think that's probably a better model than like an outright arguing debate,
There's not much to argue about in local politics either.
especially
I'm-
not in a town.
I'm starting
this
to
size.
notice that,
Yeah.
The questions are very similar. The answers are kind of very similar.
The problems are
The problems
are
are.
apparent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How to go about solving them, or different style, perhaps, of how to
Mm-hmm.
solve them seems to be more, in my opinion, at least in this last election, more an issue of deciding how to vote.
And I think we got a good mix coming out of it. And I
Agreed.
think that was good. I think we wanted a good mix. We need to have a plethora of ideas coming to bring solutions.
Indeed.
Well, everyone, let's thank Tracy Shaw. If you go to the show notes, there'll be an address, a hot link to go right to TooeleCo.org.
Make sure you register.
So you can just jump right on there. You can look at the petitions, any questions you have, anything else. And Tracy knocked it out of the park. I mean, 90 days. She had 90 days to step in and manhandle this and knocked it right out of the park. We have a couple of comments before we cut you loose. Holly had
Holly.
clapping stuff.
Holly is our local Republican Party chair.
Okay.
She's very involved in local
Well, we need to
elections,
have her
so
come on.
She would be a
Is
great
there a
resource to connect
Democrat
with.
Party chair?
There is. I know that it was Mike Keel, but I think he has moved. I don't know if someone else has taken his place or
well,
not. I'll have to find out.
I would
I
like
know
to.
Amanda Graff is involved with that, the Democratic side.
Okay.
She reached out to me for the Democratic convention, so I'm not sure what
Well, I'd like
who
to
the chair
get
has been right now, but
Holly and whoever's running on the Democrat side. We'd like to have you guys come on and just do a quick interview.
and we do have a Constitution party that's
Yeah.
active here in the county as well. I don't know
I
if they're
do know-
interested in being involved or whatnot, but
Yeah, I
be
do.
good to reach out to them as well.
I do know the guy who was running for senator a few times under the Constitutional Party.
Yeah.
And I can get him on. But yeah, Holly says she would be honored to come spend time with us. Yeah, come on in. Kind of a standing invitation. Send me a message and we'll put it together and have you on. And I want to extend the same thing to the Democrat. And Holly else says, let me know how I can help with your debates. I'm happy to help. All right, perfect. That'd be great.
Excellent.
Put something together. Maybe it's a matter of just finding a location. You know,
I'm sure we could. work
Not
that out.
hard. We'll figure that out.
Maybe we could do it at the county offices there or something, you know, or down at a bar where I would truly enjoy doing it. I could be a drunk moderator, be perfect. But yeah, you know, everyone, thanks for joining us. Let's all thank Tracy and go check out the Tooele .org website and look at the resource, get to know the resources that are in your local city, in your county, in your state.
Get involved. Run against Tracy.
Hey, the more the merrier. We can all learn together. That's fine.
I'll be interested to see the debate questions for county clerk.
Yeah.
It's
You think it'll be a controversial thing?
I don't know. I don't know what I would ask if I'm moderating that election.
Yeah, we're pretty low key as far as that. It's much more fun to pick apart our county council. They're making a lot more
how
hot button topic
Right.
decisions.
the county clerk question, how into the weeds of policy would you have to get to find a difference that would matter, really? I mean, unless they come right out and couldn't find a clue. But other than that, I mean, it boils down to the county clerk is
It's all administrative skills,
Yeah.
communication. I mean, you're
a bureaucrat that can carry out
Mm-hmm.
duties. That's what it is, you know.
yeah.
And you're
Indeed. That's
really
a kind way of putting it.
you're really a tip of the
So-
spear person. You're one that if you don't complete your job, it gets noticed.
Indeed.
Whereas a county council,
Yeah, your results will shine or
Yeah.
brine, but maybe it would be challenges instead of questions.
oh, we'd have to come
Right?
up with scenarios.
Oh man.
We could do
I
like
feel like I'm on a game show now.
county clerk survivor,
Right.
You know, climb this totem pole and pull on this ballot.
Oh man.
I don't know.
How high can I stack these ballots before they fall?
Oh,
Something
yeah.
Right
like
there,
that.
that's a good one.
How many times can you fold a ballot into the little square that they ask you in school?
Yeah.
Oh man.
What is it, like 98 times is the max for
All right, go easy, Jared. Go
But
easy.
anyways, no, but Tracy,
You're giving me second thoughts about
no, you
coming
did
back.
great.
I'll be
You did
back.
great. And
You
I would
did
be
awesome.
honored to have you run again and have you carry out those duties again.
Yeah,
You
I'd love
knocked
to.
it
I
right
feel like
out
I'm
of the
just
park.
getting my feet wet, but ultimately, you know, I don't feel like just because I'm here that I'm entitled to that. I feel every day that I have to be earning it, and I'm going to work hard to do that.
And I-
Between
and I-
now and the end of the year and see what happens
I
and
don't-
beyond.
I also want to just let you know, I think Romney's position is going to be coming up fairly shortly too, as well, isn't
Can I
it?
withdraw
I
my?
don't remember.
Can I withdraw
term is
my?
up.
Just saying, you
I
might be a
would-
good candidate
Oh,
for that.
I
Can I
think
withdraw
that
my
this is
registration
great.
now?
This is good right now, just this
Oh,
high.
goodness.
Don't stop. You can't unregister, Jerry. You can't unregister. There's
Can't
still
undo the past.
still local elections to take part in. You
Yeah,
can
I
leave
know.
that part
I
of the
will.
ballot
Can't,
blank.
can't
I
we just
promise.
register for local? Say
No,
county
can't.
line stops. That's where I stop.
Well, you just don't fill that part
Yeah.
out of the ballot out. You just leave it blank.
Okay.
And that's
but-
okay.
Maybe Holly can help me get Mike Lee on the show too, because that's posing a challenge. We got
Yeah.
to get Mike Lee on. We had his opponent. We got to get Mike Lee on to give him his chance. And,
No, we didn't have his opponent. She remember she backed out.
no, his Democratic opponent.
Oh yes, we had his
Mhm.
Democratic opponent. Yes, Mitchell. We had Mitchell on, but Ali Isom. She contacted us and then they had to back out. So maybe she'll come back on. Romney has a couple more years. You know, though, I need one of those whistles.
Can't be
that
fast enough.
looks like the frog tongue. What are those whistles called? The party whistles. But yeah, we'd like to get Mike Lee on.
I'm pretty sure Chris Stewart's got to be up. I've been getting a bajillion emails from him.
Yeah,
and my
he's
husband
up.
has because he's a delegate, and so we're getting nonstop.
Oh, your
emails
husband's a
from-
delegate.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Brian's
looks
a
like he'll be
delegate.
on the show soon.
Yeah, he likes to fiddle in the state level stuff.
Okay.
Local county is as high as I.
We
like
do have
go.
to contact our delegates because
Yeah.
they do fly under the radar a little too.
And
too low.
consider running as a delegate. I mean, we have at least the Republican side. I'm sure the Democrats do too. In March, we'll have our caucus meetings coming up. I want to say March 8th. Holly, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going from memory. But that'll be the opportunity for you as a citizen to run in your local precinct caucus, where you can have the ability to run as a delegate and represent your neighborhood to both the county and or state, and take part in a whole new way, selecting the names of those that will go on the ballot and to get more involved here locally. We need people to be in those positions.
I think we need to definitely promote that when that day comes.
March 8th, yeah.
Okay, good.
Holly
I
says,
did have it right. Excellent.
Holly says we need to do our show at the upcoming Lincoln Day dinner, interviewing all GOP candidates live. Yeah.
What's for
we
dinner?
would love to.
That depends. Like, is it
It's
gonna be
a nice
steak or
dinner.
is it going to be? Oh,
It's
okay.
normally a nice dinner. I think it's like a
It's a
$40 or
GO
$50 a plate.
Yeah.
Kind of like people pay $50 a ticket
Oh,
to come.
we'd
to this
go if it
dinner.
was McDonald's. We don't care.
Yeah.
It's a fundraising dinner, but it's usually really nice, and Holly puts on a really great
I
event.
used to love the Chinese buffet. I got a rock gut. I'll make it.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, no, we would love to come down. And the same thing for the Democrat Party. I am not a Republican or a Democrat. I have leanings, but I am not either. But I would like to chat with both of them, because I honestly want to just I want this to be a place of information for everyone, and a chance for people to maybe figure out where they want to go with their vote and who they want to vote for, you know. But yeah,
It's a great idea, a great offering, and it'd be neat if we could make it work at the Lincoln Day and elsewhere.
I would love to come. I'll even pay
Yeah.
to come to that and eat food. You
How
know?
about that?
$50 isn't that bad for a decent dinner. That's a
Yeah.
decent price.
Yeah, hopefully we
Well.
can maintain it. I do know that. I mean, I'm in the food industry anyway, and just food costs alone have gone
Oh.
up so much for
How long
across the
before they
board.
do like Zoom dinners where you get on there?
Oh,
You'll
man.
have one guy with like a hot pocket. He's feeding it in his gullet.
Oh my!
I like
Another-
Hot Pocket.
Another guy. I hate.
I used to live off of those at the airport
I love
they're
hot pockets
nasty.
too.
Oh, man.
They are nasty.
because I couldn't afford the food upstairs. So
Oh, yeah.
we have vending machines that have regular prices downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Pockets were just $1.
Top seller there. Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
They're so gross. The ham and cheese is almost edible. And that's because I can recognize what they put in it. But you get,
I went pepperoni every day.
Well, have a smoothie every once in a while. I think you'll be okay.
I haven't been down.
I'd save my pennies for smoothies over
There you go.
I'm going to
There
go
you
hit the shameless plug real quick for you. I haven't been down to the Roxbury in a hot minute. I need to get down there.
And you got to try the acai.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
the cargo pants berry. I don't know whatever word you're saying over there.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say that word. A lot of people say acai, and it's a
Acai.
weird word. Like it's
It's
funny.
spelled in Brazilian. So I mean, you know, and you can get that stuff like anywhere in Brazil. Like on the beach, they push the carts, and you can just be like, you know, and then
Yeah.
they bring it to you. It's pretty good.
What
I'm
is it?
telling you.
What does it look like in its whole form?
It looks like purple.
It's like a dark
How big is
purple
it?
berry. I've never seen a.
Oh,
a-
the berry itself.
the
It's,
berry
it's
itself.
really red, but it's like that big. And
Uh-huh.
they say it's like the equivalent of 10 oranges in terms of vitamin C
yeah,
level.
Oh.
it is chock full of a lot
Good.
of
Yeah.
nutrients and antioxidants and all sorts of good stuff that are worth bringing across the
You,
borders.
you can't get it at Cold Stone. I'm
No,
just saying.
You really can't.
Yeah.
Just Roxbury.
Okay, so yeah, there's a shameless plug for the Roxbury, and you're welcome for bringing Tracy on. I want to thank Tracy for coming on.
Yeah,
I know we
happy to
hounded
do
her
it.
before the election, like right after she got in there,
Oh man.
and she
Yeah.
was wide-eyed, deer in the headlights.
That was a fire hose moment. I still feel like I have a fire hose to some extent. That things are a little bit farther down that line now that are more manageable. But
You
yeah.
did great. You did great.
You
you
know-
killed it.
guys.
Knocked it clean out of the park. And I also want to throw it out there for your staff,
Yes.
because your staff stayed in there, and I'm sure they helped you out and carried the ball on that too. So I feel good
Yep.
knowing that the county clerk's office is squared away.
Indeed. We'll keep doing what we do and get better every day. We're making lots of changes down there, and change is hard sometimes, but I think it's time to do something different there.
All right. So look forward to more shows. I think next week, tentatively, we've got a cooking show coming up. So We're going to try to piece that together. I don't know how to run a cooking show. So hopefully for me, it's an eating show because I'm squared away at that eating
Who
part.
you having on for the cooking show? Do you remember?
You'll have to wait and
Yeah.
find out.
Oh, okay.
We're still settling the
Yeah,
details on
working
it.
it out.
So
Okay, fair
let's-
enough. We'll
let's
keep
just-
that under wraps and keep
Yep.
us in suspense. I'm with you.
And expect the two mayors, Grantsville, Tooele, mayors coming on over the next month. I've already started communication with them. And then city council people just rolling through, even if it's just a quick 20 minutes for them to come on, talk about what they're noticing, their focus and what have you. We're going to try to get all of Stockton, Erda, Stansbury, Lake Point, all of that. We definitely want to be involved with the Lake Point upcoming transition and elections, and chatting with everyone running there, and help inform everyone voting on that. And if up or that you feel the county would benefit, let us know if you got to advertise something or anything else.
or a cool show idea. We still want to help the local businesses promote themselves
Yeah.
and come
That's-
on and just show us what you got.
It's another thing you're going to see, just like last year. We're going to do a local business review where everyone right now just submit your local businesses that you know about. We're going to do a local business kind of platform where we're just going to announce all the local businesses around town so that for your Christmas shopping needs, you can go get that stuff locally and help support your friends and neighbors.
Yeah, it'd be great to partner with the chamber on that.
Mhm.
I'm involved in that arena as well.
And I
we
think
have a lot
we've reached out to you
great-
guys before. So
a
yeah, come
lot
on.
Of great
Yep.
Do
local
you
businesses.
are you not, do you have a night off?
Yeah, I
How old
do.
are your kids?
They're 17 and 14. They're older and
Okay.
they're driving, so
All
my
right.
time's a little bit more free. That's what I'm saying. It's a good time
Yeah.
right now in my life to be doing it, and luckily I have a very, very supportive husband. And like I said, it was a family decision to take on this new endeavor, and everyone's supportive. So
Good.
can't
Good.
complain when you've got a backing like I do. It makes
He's a
it
good guy.
possible to wear the many hats that I do, because he wears a lot of them for me as well.
Well, you
So-
guys are an impressive family, doing a lot for the county, the state, and everything else. And I'm gonna get with you about the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
We want them on.
Yeah, we do want to get all the local businesses, kind of get their name out there in case someone's looking for that last minute book or dress.
That's
or,
good to know. I was shopping at one this morning. I'm down at the Crystal Float Spa. Have you guys ever been there? I've never done a float before. I'm
The
gonna
little
get brave.
pods?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I-
get brave and
They
go
turn
do
the
it.
lights off and you're in there floating,
I
listening
don't
to
wanna-
music.
There are
We should do a show in a pod.
Oh my goodness.
there are a few people I could handle being alone with, and I am not one of them.
You can
I
take
can agree.
You can take your wife in there and be in there together if you want.
Do I have to find a wife to pull that off?
I was waiting for that
somebody.
comment.
Man,
Find somebody and take her there. That's what you need to
have
do.
some rando and
There you
haul
go.
her into the float spa. The first date idea.
There you go. First date that will
Oh.
definitely drive them away if that's your
Yes, I'll finish that one right off. But anyways, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank Tracy. So we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and I don't know. I like to think that Tooele County has always been kind of an innovative county. Grantsville too. Tooele and Grantsville have we got history shows coming up soon, and you'll see a lot of the impressive things that have come out of this county over the generations. So,
Is your dad going to be involved with that discussion?
oh, you
Of
Oh
course.
man,
Said it
that
believe he'll
guy,
show
he
up
has
a few
so much
times.
history shoved into his brain. I don't
Yeah.
understand how it all fits. Like, he's so fascinating to hear. I can't wait to hear
yeah,
when
He's a
when he's
storyteller.
going to tell the stories. I
Yeah,
want to listen.
it's good ones. I'm trying to reach out to the head of the Goshoot tribe. I would
Really?
like them to come on. I think that would be a fun one. But anyways, look forward to all that stuff in the future. Thanks for joining us, Tracy.
You're welcome. Anytime.
And everyone, thank you for joining us. And we will be back on Real soon, yes. Holly, Roxbury is your favorite local business. I
Mine
need to
too.
get down
Oh my gosh.
there. All right, everyone, have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.